usually edit out the first part because I need to do retweets.
Certainly. I'll go to Clash of Perps right now.
Okay. Okay, sick. Yeah. Welcome, Adrian and Perp yeah, co-founders of DomFi. Domination Fi is a pretty interesting pub dex that is live at the moment, and it's very different from I guess all the other pub dexes, which are essentially just allowing you to long and short typical crypto tickers and rehashing of equity tickers from traditional brokerages. Yeah, you guys focus on BTC, ETH dominance, and more. Yeah, maybe you guys can just do a brief introduction of yourselves. Adrian first, then Popotelli, and yeah, also briefly what Domination Fi is about.
Yeah, no. So I'm Adrian, obviously, and Michael and I grew up in the same area in Chicagoland, and we've been in crypto dabbling for quite some time now. Probably when started going the hardest in around 2017. But the idea around domination finance is that it's you can trade the market share or the market dominance of any particular asset you want. So we wanted to start small with just market dominance crypto pairs. So think BTC Dom, ETH Dom, Tether Dom, Sol Dom, etc. But if you really think about it, like when someone's trading an asset or they're investing in a particular sector, one of the first questions they ask themselves is, how much market dominance or market share is, say, I don't know, Tesla going to get against automobiles, or McDonald's with fast food, or Sony with consumer electronics and entertainment, and the list kind of goes on. So when we got together, we wanted to build a new way to trade with, I guess, a concept that people already clearly understand. So like that's the most simple, high-level way of putting it. I would like to leave a disclaimer. We consider ourselves really a data company, right? And we'll kind of get into the Oracle and how that works later. But the Perp Dex is just the first inaugural product that we're launching. We feel like it's the best way for people to get their feet wet trading market dominance versus all the alternative products we could spin off from the source of truth we've created here.
Nice. Okay, that's an interesting take. So it's mainly I guess data Oracle product. And just nice Perps is where I guess it's the first product that actually uses this Oracle. Got it. And yeah, maybe an introduction to both of you. Yeah, how do you guys get into crypto, and how do you guys meet each other as co-founders?
Yeah, mine is actually it's gonna be all handed off to Adrian because he's actually the one that got me into crypto. So yeah, we grew up in a similar area and went to high school together, and then during our time in early university, we really started hanging out. And Adrian was the one that showed me crypto. So the origin story, mine's very much so tied to our co-founding story. But yeah, I'll throw it off to Adrian to give his background.
No, thanks, man. Yeah, it's I mean, I was dabbling in crypto for a while, but like we're in our late 20s. But way back in the day, I was playing a lot of RuneScape with my older brother, and we were doing a lot of merch. It's kind of why we talked Clash of Perps, but we were doing a lot of merching in the GE. So we ran a small merchant clan, and for people who don't know how that works, is it's pretty similar to pumping and dumping shitcoins. I'm not gonna lie, but you take a particular asset or item in RuneScape, you buy up all the float, it pumps the price, and then you just start trickle selling and nuking the particular asset, whether it's prayer potions, adamant plate bodies, really simple stuff. But yeah, we wanted to like offload our RuneScape gains into real life money. And I don't know, I was browsing 4chan/G for all the plumbers out there who you guys should remember /G technology board. So on /G, I was just asking questions like, hey, I'm like, 13, 14 years old. I'm trying to offload this, but if I do it via a fiat on-ramp somehow and that gets traced back to me, I wasn't worried about jail or the law. I was worried about getting my RuneScape account nuked. Like that, those were my priorities back then. Seriously. So I was like, hey, I got like a shit ton of hours in this account. I'm really close to my first skill cape. What do I do? And then everyone in /G was like Bitcoin Talk Forum. So I go to my older brother and I was like, hey, we got to check out this Bitcoin Talk Forum thing. And he goes, oh yeah, no, I'm already on it. Like I'm already very familiar with what Bitcoin is. So yeah, we did small drops, small TC drops, offloaded RuneScape gains for BTC, got scammed a bunch, made a little bit of Bitcoin, and then that Bitcoin really carried a lot of my pocket money throughout high school and college, which like in hindsight was pretty fucking retarded. But I feel like a lot of people who got in early spent more of their Bitcoin than they probably wished in hindsight, right? Because back then, Bitcoin going to, even a couple $1,000s was like crazy to us. Like we didn't expect, Bitcoin would scale to what it is now and crypto to become its own, like fleshed out industry like it is today. Like had no idea of DeFi, any of that stuff. It was way too early. So in 2017 came around and crypto started mooning and I had some of my fledgling bags. I made a lot of early plays on especially Ant shares, which became Neo from Bittrex. That was like my big early 2017 play. But when I started aping in 2017 again, I just was hanging out in Michael's backyard after we were playing footy. And I was like, yo, you got to check out this crypto shit. I was wrong about a lot of stuff too, but I just showed him the high level. We even bought a little bit of BNB. But yeah, it was like the early Binance days. I'm talking like first week that Binance is even a live product was when I really showed it to Michael. Wow. And then, yeah, from there, we just kept going back and forth throughout the years. It nuked, the market nuked in 2018. We were still in college, but we were scheming, just bouncing off ideas. University ended. Michael went off to go work at Exodus. I worked for a small real estate fund, and we were tokenizing, existing properties in Ethereum. But when DeFi summer came around, I got really bored of security token land. And like, it's obviously now with the evolution of RWAs, like the original security token thesis of like the 2019 era is not at all what materialized today in the form of RWAs. So I kind of saw that early. I was like, no, like I actually do believe in open finance. I actually believe in DEXs. So when Uniswap started really taking off in early 2020, that was the first sign that like DeFi was here. And it was actually Michael who approached me at that point and went, yo, listen, like we have real decentralized finance now. This is actually cool. So Michael was the one who showed me compound finance back then, MakerDAO, like early days of DAI. And we were chilling in his backyard. And we were just trying to think, like, what do we do? What do we build? What do we build? Because this is the beginning of COVID. So we have a ton of time on our hands. And he just mentioned to me, like, hey, is there anywhere I can trade Bitcoin dominance? And we were looking around. We found two venues. Some of these futures contracts don't exist anymore. But Bitfinex actually had one. But it was a bastardization of the metric, which we're going to lead into in a bit. But it was Bitcoin dominance of the top 10 assets on Bitfinex. So we're just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay, like it's an interpretation of Bitcoin dominance, but that's not what dominance actually is. We want to trade the real thing. So we're scavenging around. We find out that you can't really trade it anywhere. So we just kind of looked at ourselves and said, oh, fuck it. If you want to use something and it's not available on the market, that's typically the best sign of, hey, we should probably go make this. So it started off completely organic. So we're tinkering around, we're looking. We came across a UMA protocol, which Michael was already familiar with. UMA protocol was the best way for us to get some sort of MVP out the door ASAP quickly. We did that. And while we were building the UMA protocol version of DomFi way back in the day, it just kind of hit me like, wait a minute, this doesn't have to stop at Bitcoin dominance. you should be able to trade the market share or the market dominance of any particular asset against a basket that you please. So that expanded the vision into, what we call today just domination finance. So yeah, I guess throughout that journey, we built the initial version there, raised some venture, many, many years ago. But we kind of hit a roadblock where we realized, okay, the initial problem that, even kickstarted all of this was there isn't an industry-wide or widely understood methodology for calculating what dominance is. Because if we want, ETH dominance, Tether dominance on all these different venues, because that's our goal. We just want this to become popular. That's really the mission. You can't have different venues with different methodologies of how you calculate the instrument, because that provides a whole plethora of issues for market makers. So yeah, we went back to the table. We spent a couple years grinding out and building out the source of truth, the Oracle. And we just reared our heads recently in 2026 and launched a DEX alongside that. So like that's I guess the how, the when, the why, the where, all the above to pretty much where we got today.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I noticed you guys raised a while back, and yeah, it's honestly great to see people have conviction and stick true on their initial ideas, and yeah, keep building. It's quite rare, to be honest, but yeah, it's very commendable. And yeah, I think most of the people I know who raised back then already either pivoted to a whole other idea before hitting something, or they've already given up. Yeah, so this is great.
No, dude, it was tough, bro. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. There were definitely in like the dark years, mid like 23 and 24, when we were trying to get the Oracle to work. It was a massive pain in the ass. I guess I'll let Michael cover like what makes it so difficult to build a dominance Oracle. But there were many times where we were like, man, it would be so easy for us just to like hit up Pith and Chainlink and list all the normie perps and make an easy 7-figure bag from having a live perp DEX in 2024 onward. But yeah, I'll kick it off the mic.
Yeah. Like honestly, ironically, I mean, now the perp infra is expanding a lot, but I think up until, relatively recently, it was relatively cookie cutter, and the differentiation in perps kind of came from, and a lot of this still is true, but really incentives and pretty much what Oracle feeds your listing, right? So whatever Link and Pith offers, whichever you choose to whitelist and kind of market yourself around is what it takes. But then you kind of flipped it into what we really built out, which was not only the perp DEX side, which frankly is not that easy either, because unless you want to shell out 5 figures a month in cloud, like you got to get pretty creative with running infra, analytics, bots. Like there's a lot that actually goes into running the exchange, but we pretty much have a whole second product in our Oracle. And just calculating the data, okay, it may not be that difficult, but if you want to calculate and publish the data in a way that you can trade it with leverage in a perp DEX style experience, that's a whole lot harder. Because even how you see a lot of indices built now, they're slow, they're fixed baskets, or they're rebalanced quarterly. Like TradingView doesn't even have a hyperliquid dominance chart yet, and I don't think that hype is accounted for in their dominance calculations, which is insane. You need dominance as a fluid metric, right? It's market share of a total market. So that kind of needs to be really dynamic and fluid. And build out an Oracle that could service that, it just took a lot of the time, and it was not easy.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And yeah, I guess maybe you guys can share like how exactly does your price Oracle work, and what chain is it on? Is it like an on-chain Oracle?
Yeah, so it publishes everything on chain. And the process, like with most oracles, it's kind of a hybrid. So there's obviously some off-chain ingest and then the on-chain publishing. But effectively, we take in a bunch of prices from a load of exchanges, pretty much at real time. And then that gives us the price basket of dominance, right? Because dominance at its core, it's very simple. It's price times circulating supply for not just one asset, but a bunch of assets. So we have a bunch of sources for both the price and the circulating supply, and that is effectively calculated real time. And the way it then works on chain is we have a push model where every 1 minute, irregardless of how much trading activity there is, a new value is published on chain. And we also have a pull functionality. So let's say, a second ago, the Oracle price was published with the push. And then right now I want to open a trade. Another value will then be requested to pull. So it just depends on activity, how often we can publish. But we're ingesting and calculating this thing so fast that it can pretty much happen sequentially. So we're actually more limited by the block speeds than we are on the infrastructure with how the Oracle works.
Okay, got it. But yeah, I guess it must be fairly expensive if you're pushing every minute.
It was when we were running it on cloud initially. We got into, I guess, what do you call it, accelerator or cohort with G Cloud. And if you're lazy and you just throw this thing up in the cloud, you're going to be burning, 25, 30 grand a month just to keep it operational. So that was the other challenge, was like, we got it to work, right? We're publishing dominance at like a 10 to 20 millisecond ingest off chain. And then it was just hosting that was an absolute beast. So solving it was one thing to make it tradable, and then getting that to run at cost so we could run an actual business was just a whole nother arc of work. So yeah, we host that all bare metal now, but that was the difficult part, because most how do I say this? Charting dominance and trading it, like having a feed where you can just chart it and having a feed where it's tradable, are two entirely different beasts. So because we wanted people to trade this and get their feet wet and actually do something new, that was just a crazy arc of work that we honestly weren't prepared for, because we were between a rock and a hard place where it was, all right, like just raise more money, throw money at the problem, do that. But I don't know, we wanted to maybe raise a second round after we got traction first. So it was a choice between lower the ceiling of the potential of the project and future holders, or it was just eat shit in the beginning, in the interim, and once we scale out, we have a much higher ceiling and a greater horizon. So that was a really tough choice we had to make internally. So that's just kind of where we got now. But when we built the initial version in UMA protocol kind of solved that problem for us at the expense of a good trading UX or a good trading experience. Because how UMA works is it powers Polymarket, right? So UMA's optimistic oracle is really good for prediction markets, but for perps, it's almost impossible to use. So the UMA version of DOMFI, you had two pools of, for example, BTC DOM long synthetic tokens against USDC, and then BTC DOM short tokens against USDC. So it was two pools per pair. It was expiry and it had no leverage. So given the low volatility of the instrument, it's something that really demanded leverage to be, widely tradable. So yeah, we basically exchanged one problem for another, but it's been a constant fucking, I guess, like, how do I say this? A battlefield in no man's land just to get this to work. But when we got it to work, we were obviously thrilled. We were over the moon.
Yeah, damn, that's, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I personally wouldn't dare to build any price oracle from scratch. Yeah, very commendable. Yeah, regarding the trading UI, if you guys want, we can actually have you guys go through the existing UI. Maybe a walkthrough for everyone, like how people would go about trading on Domination Fi today.
Sure. You want me to share my screen? Would that help?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Let me just whip up testnet. Like testnet says the better thing to do, so we can fire some trades for people. Let's see. Screen share. I'll get the entire screen. It is what it is. All right, let's see when that's up. There we go.
Yo.
Are we good?
Yep. Nice.
Awesome,
nice.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is the UI. It's pretty straightforward. We have 5 pairs listed right now. We have 5 new pairs coming soon. We don't really want to spill the tea in what those are, but it is 5 new market dominance pairs. But it's pretty straightforward, right? You have your market orders, your limit orders, both sides of the trade. Leverage is pretty high on dominance just because it's less volatile. Like you can see that up here. Like the dailies are typically 1 to 1.5% on various pairs. BTC Dom is the least volatile of them all. So that's why we have 500x leverage available. But again, I mean, BTC Dom moves, 0.4% a day. So it's a totally different beast compared to the rest. But just a little trinket. I think my favorite is probably the history tab. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'll kind of share you why. Is a big issue I had on other exchanges that I was trading on was that you have your history of the trade, right? But unless you take really good notes or you use some other like note-taking software, you don't actually know what happened throughout the lifespan of that position sometimes. So for example, if I were to go, oh gosh, let me try to find a position where I made a good amount of money. There you go. So on this position here, we have an event timeline where it shows you exactly what happened in the lifespan of that position with timestamps. I need to find another example where maybe it shows, changing take profit, stop loss, et cetera, et cetera. I probably would have to go deeper. Here we go. Nope. Oh man, I would have to go look deeper, but I think you get the purpose here is that on these positions, you can see very clearly what happened throughout the lifespan of that position. So that's just, I don't know, that's probably my favorite feature of it all. But beyond that, we have pretty much everything you're looking for, right? We're probably most proud of our analytics as well. Like we track pretty much everything. So daily trade volume, cumulative daily P&L. But the nicest part about this is for all the researchers out there, for all the threadors, you can actually just download the CSV of all of this data right here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great.
Just click this button, you have all the data available to you, and you can do with that whatever you please. But we really didn't leave a single stone unturned here. Like you can kind of look at pretty much everything you would possibly want to look at when it comes to the trading analytics and the product analytics. Trades, feeds, volume by pair. You can even eliminate them. You can look at the all-time, 30-day, 7-day. It's all available to you, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, dude. Like the product is really just the pairs, right? That's the feeds, the dominance is the product. Everything else is pretty much everything you would expect, right? Like you have a portfolio page which shows you, your realized P&L and your volume and your stats across all pairs. You can also look at your history. The neat part about this, though, is if you go to leaderboards, you can actually click on someone else's position on the leaderboard, and you get the same portfolio view as you do for your own wallet. There's just a search option up there. So if you're looking at the leader, which is this wallet on testnet, you can see the positions he currently has open. You can look at his history. You can see everything he's done. So we felt like if you're trading something new, which dominance is a new thing to trade, we need to give people all the tools we possibly could so they could succeed, right? So, but yeah, beyond that, it's pretty straightforward, dude. You got your referrals, your vaults, it's all right there. I would say beyond that, I think the thing I'm probably also pretty proud about, which is courtesy of Michael here, is every Monday we publish something we call the Dominance Debrief. It's our research blog. So once a week, we post a lot of fundamental analysis of the weekly PA of dominance. We highlight a particular dominance pair for the week, and we just give breakdowns on, why we believe dominance moved a certain way. Alongside that, this is a new thing we're publishing where it's called Trades of the Week. So we wanted to do like one blog piece a week for fundamental analysis, and then another blog piece every week for technical analysis. So Trades of the Week is basically a snapshot of like, hey, the week is over, but throughout the last week, these were the best trades you could have made on dominance for these particular pairs. So I really think the real battle beyond the Oracle problem we explained earlier was just educating people on how to trade this. Because my real thesis is I respect every single team building something in crypto, especially in perps. But my honest position is if I'm trading any of the majors, BTC USD, ETH USD, equities, commodities, whatever they are, there's really only a few venues that I would actually consider placing that trade. excluding any kind of incentives, right? So for us, we kind of knew, okay, like if we're just gonna ship all the same pairs and launch the perp dex for the sake of launching a perp dex, we could have done that years ago. That would have been a very easy thing for us to do. But I don't know. It's we didn't want to cut a piece of an existing pie. We wanted to create a new pie and grow it. So the way we look at it is, if trading dominance becomes popular at all, whether it's us, somebody else, our venue, different venue, whatever it is, we consider that mission success. So like that's really the high level of what we're looking to achieve here. I'll kill this stream real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, I guess I'm more curious on how you guys gonna, I mean, I really like how you guys are doing weekly blocks that goes into like best trades, especially. I think no one's doing that at the moment for the other pub dexers, and there's interesting insights that we can tap on. Besides that, I think I was quite interested in earlier on, like at the start when you mentioned dominance for any asset, right? Like I think the first thought I had when you said that was poly market having a lot of these markets around like NVIDIA's mind share compared to the other AI companies or specific LMs, right? They do have these like on a monthly basis, but yeah, if it could be on a continuous basis where these things are tracked, that would be very interesting. And if I could trade on it, that would be very cool. And like what you mentioned on any asset, like if I'm interested more in the fast food industry, maybe I can trade that. I think what you guys have built is a very good infrastructure for essentially sort of speculation on anything or potentially even hedging, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where, and it's cool because it stemmed in crypto. I think Bitcoin dominance was ironically, we see a lot of TradFi concepts come on chain, right? Tokenized treasuries, tokenized stocks, but these are traditional finance instruments coming on chain. Whereas dominance had this cool, I guess, origin story of Bitcoin dominance was kind of the most referenced dominance chart or dominance metric, either in crypto or outside of TradFi, but it applies really well. So even, something like NVIDIA's dominance of chips, like that's still price-based. A couple really cool ones that actually appeared in crypto. I think one really good one last year was, for example, Athena's dominance of stables. There was a period in 25, like during that tariff crash, where Athena's price cratered something like 60 or 70%, but their circulating supply of stables grew a lot. So their market share was growing and price was showing something completely opposite. So if you could strip out price speculation and speculate on literally the fundamental market share of a project, I think it creates a lot of really cool, like you said, hedging opportunities and ability to speculate on things where you're stripping out the speculative aspect and just strictly looking at fundamentals. So it creates a really cool dynamic where, yeah, you're literally just speculating on the market share, whether that's the market share of the price or the market share of something fundamental like the stable coin supply, right?
Yeah. And another thing which I guess I saw, I mean, like what you mentioned as well, BTC DOM is very well discussed and is still quite much highlighted. Is there potentially like go to market in some of these subreddits where all this is being discussed, or like what I mentioned earlier, dominance on other assets? I guess I'm just curious more on go to market side.
Yeah, I mean, we're really trying to build as many tools as possible internally. Like that's like the first order of business, right? Because it's when you're bringing something new, like I've beaten like a dead horse, you want to make it as accessible as possible. So whether someone wants to trade on the UI, or if they want to integrate our SDK, or if they want to spin up, their own MCP, there's a million ways they could do it, right? So for us, it's tool basket A of the actual product and access to the product. And then basket B would be, just teaching people what dominance is, right? Because there's a whole slew of scenarios where someone would prefer to trade dominance versus the standard USD pairs. I wouldn't say it's a better way to trade because that would be dishonest. It's just another tool in the tool belt of a trader. Like that's the real goal here, where we don't expect dominance to be the most traded thing on the planet. But we do know is that as it scales and as it becomes well known and popular, that a seasoned or a veteran trader will consider hedging with dominance or opening up a position when he feels fit. So the easiest example of this would be, I think this was about like 6 or 7 weeks ago when hype was just ripping and everyone thought it was going to climb into the 70s. And the rest of the market during that time was just puking because everyone was selling their positions and they were going into hype. Longing hype obviously would have made you money back then, but you would have made more money by longing hype dominance, right? Because if hype is going up but the rest of the market is going down, you can put two and two together, right? So people try to mimic this all the time with basket trades. Well, they'll go long one particular asset, but they'll short individual assets, and that just becomes a mess. That becomes a logistical nightmare. And we think that should just be a single, clean, readable chart where you could just take that position if you so please. But yeah, I mean, I guess beyond just creating all the tools for people to roll up their sleeves and get their hands wet, yeah, that's basically the next step. It's like we're DMing people every single day that we see who chart dominance frequently. I would say BTC dominance, the most popular chart is for sure Tether dominance.
100%. I think I've already had a lot of DMs and some of these, like you can even dig up on X, like conversations with traders that actually use Tether dominance or USDT.D to take Bitcoin longs or shorts. So they're not even looking at the BTC chart. They're using Tether dominance as their primary indicator and then taking the BTC trade, which when you think about it, doesn't make sense because they're kind of removing their main thesis into another trade. And most of them obviously don't really know about us because Tether dominance has never been tradable. So it's almost educating and teaching new behavior, which obviously is an uphill battle when you're doing something new. But when you see this pattern from people already trading, charting, it's teaching a new behavior. And then when you expand that market, you never really know what the potential is because obviously we're focused on crypto dominances now. But as we've talked about a lot, the concept of trading market share really applies to anything. So the expansion ceiling is huge, but it starts from kind of educating and teaching new behavior. And there's a lot of people who already, especially on things like Tether dominance, use that as their primary indicator for long and shorts on BTC.
Got it. Yeah, I think, I guess reaching out to these existing traders who already use this stuff, it's a good start for go-to-market. Another thing I did notice on Hyperliquid is around prop firms popping up, on-chain prop firms. Where I guess essentially people provide traders with more funds to trade, and I guess those who are better with a higher win rate gets funded to trade even more. I guess is that an angle which you guys might want to look into in terms of go to market, getting more of these traders on board? I mean, especially from what I'm hearing, like people in trade on BTC dominance, they seem to be really like a lot more serious traders than I guess the typical perp traders that we have nowadays.
Yeah, I think a lot of those prop firms that you're seeing on Hype, kind of building on the infra. So we've actually spoken to a couple already and reached out because ultimately the prop firm is kind of the managing aspect of that. Yeah, given we already have an exchange and an Oracle, running our own lending book on as a third product would be a little overkill, but definitely not excluding it out of conversation. And I think your trading profiling is correct, right? This is different than trenching on FOMO and buying pump.fun coins. It's it's market structure, it's range bound. You need to have a thesis. It does trade pretty technically as well. So yeah, definitely something we've explored and actually already spoken to a couple of the guys that are on Hype. Because for them, right, think about it, like it doesn't really make a lot of sense to expand their prop firm for crypto majors to another exchange that's not Hyperliquid, but dominance isn't offered anywhere else, right? So it's our unique foot in the door in a lot of these conversations, and it's been pretty well received. So we'll obviously follow us on X. We'll drop any news when that comes to fruition. But yeah, something we've already thought about for sure.
Nice. And yeah, the final piece that I guess I'm curious about is I guess how for your APIs right now, are you guys looking to see maybe like a trading agent vertical for these, where essentially people implement domination phi within their maybe their Claude, within their Claude, so that it execute trades based on weekly cron jobs, prompting around like BTC or Tether dominance when it hits certain TA. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. This is an angle we actually took pretty aggressively. So we're gonna have an integration partnership coming out the tail end of this month with Because Bitcoin for automated strategies on their platform, which is exactly what you talked about. But we already have shipped an SDK, which is very, very usable with any of your agents. So all of these strategies are already possible to be built. Like if someone is running an agentic wallet, we have all the infra in place ready to execute that now. And hopefully maybe September, we'll actually release our own MCP server as well. So we've taken that agentic route pretty aggressively because we know I think it's a really good in class to trade with that model, right? Like if BTC hits 62K, long or short tether dominance, depending on your view off that level, etc. So a lot of that is already available, and we are going to have obviously more developments and integrations kind of painting that vision. But all of that is accessible. So if anyone wants to go to the docs, check out our SDK, it's already possible today.
Nice, sick. And I guess that also answers the question, my final question around upcoming features we can see. MCP, an agentic integration partner, and also you mentioned 3 more dominance pairs. That's pretty comprehensive. Yeah.
5 more.
5 more. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
5. Yeah. Just want to make sure it's clear. Yeah. I'll tease one of them. One of the 5 is going to be Hype Dom. That is there. It's coming.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, it's been very well discussed. Hype dominance. It's just, I guess there's no way to trade it at the moment, like you mentioned earlier. So yeah, this would be huge. Other than that, are you guys doing any events in Singapore or Korea for KBW?
We want to get the wheels turning first. I feel like there's too much work to do instead of playing cocktail hour and touch butt at conferences.
I agree. Conferences are all it's all pretty useless unless you host, like a lot of them. What they do, I guess, is they host like trading events. That I guess, especially in Korea, it might make some sense. But anything else you do, like if you head over to conferences or you do boothing, I think all that is just setting money on fire.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not even that. It's just that every single day we're moving at breakneck speed because we're a pretty lean team. So we just want to get the stuff we want out first. And we have a lot of partners that we're integrating with and launching via our new ambassador program pretty soon. So it's we want to get those wheels turning first, and then get ready to hit the circuit again. But conferences are very useful when you're linking up with familiar faces and particular people. You need to go to a conference with a purpose, but like going just to go, it's just everybody trying to fucking shill you their bags, dude. Like it's pretty bad. That and getting hammered.
Yeah, no, I was asking more because I guess most of the perp dexes are doing at least a trading event in Korea. There's this thing called, I think, a Perps Day, supposedly, from what I've heard so far. But yeah, I'm just curious. But
no, we got some plans. We got some plans. We got a few hubs we're spinning up, but we gotta get those seeds planted first before we do it. I'll share more later.
Yeah, nice. I guess final words before we end this off. Anything? Any call to action you guys want to put in?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, you can see our X associated with this stream. It's just at Domination Phi. You can find our mainnet product there, our webpage, our docs. That's where you're going to find most of our resources. The thing I would plug the hardest, beyond obviously the exchange, is our blog. Again, I'll reiterate, we publish FA pieces and TA pieces weekly now. So if you want to get your feet wet and you want to get familiar with how, when, where, and why you would trade dominance, that is your best resource, and we are committed to pushing out that content weekly.
Nice.
Yeah, and hopefully the space could be a nice precursor to Domfi on Clash of Perps. I think we'd all love to see that.
Yes, definitely. That would be definitely up within this week or next week. But yeah, I'm excited for that as well. Especially, I guess, timing it with hype dominance would be hella sick.
Yeah. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Hype dominance coming soon near you.
Yeah. Thank you, Adrian, and thank you, Papatelli, for your time. And yeah, that's it for today's Perp Pod. Yeah, catch Domination 5 on Domination 5 on X, and yeah, we'll have this recorded and uploaded to YouTube as well, and yeah, for clips also. So I'll send those to you guys later. But yeah, thanks everyone for your time, and yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Or a good evening. Take care.
No, thanks for having us, boss. We appreciate it. See ya.
Yeah, no worries, man.